Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of our How We Make Our Blades series. This is a part where we dive into the real handwork of the process. However, before we go on to the grinding steps, we had a question from last week about what exactly is that heat treat process we talked about last time. So at some point we're going to do a whole video on heat treat, talk about it, go out to Braddock Metallurgical, show you the big ovens, hopefully maybe even do an in-house heat treat for you as well. If you followed any other knife maker or video makers or sword makers doing videos, then you've seen that heat treat process. But as a very, very quick explanation, when we start with our steel, it starts off extremely soft. So if I have an example here, so this is a cut-off piece. As you can see, there was a blade cut here, and this piece, although it's the same steel, has not been heat treated yet. So if I take this steel and I go to bend it, let me back up so you can see me. I think you can see me. So if I go to bend it, it's going to remain bent. So there's no spring whatsoever to it. The steel is very soft and very malleable. So when I heat treat it, what I'm doing, this is one of my heat treated blanks here. So this piece has already been heat treated. What it does is there's two steps to it. One is that the first step, the quench, takes the steel from yellow hot and then drops it in an oil bath or whatever coolant you're using, and it hardens that steel as hard as it can possibly get. Now at that point the steel is way too hard. It's like glass, so you can shatter it pretty easily. So then the second phase is the temper phase. In the temper phase we draw the hardness back out and find that sweet spot we want for a sword blade, which is not so soft that it bends, not so hard that it shatters. But again, if I step back, if I try to bend this piece now, it's going to snap right back straight, and it's a nice spring condition. Now we're in a nice spring zone for our material. So this is where we want our sword blade, and this is how we want to begin our grind process. So now, this is that Type 15 I was talking about before. It's already heat treated, and we're going to start the grind steps on this one. So before we start grinding and showing you what we're doing there, we have a couple basic steps. First thing we do is, if a blade has a fuller, we start with a fuller first. So this blade has already been rough ground. As you can see, I think you can see the fuller there. So we grind the fullers first, roughed out, and then we rough out the edge tapers. Most of our blades don't have fullers though, because we prefer the Type 15 and Type 18. And so this Type 15 we're going to be grinding doesn't have fullers, but let's get over and show you how the grinders actually work. I think this editing worked. So the grinders we have two main grinders that we use in-house here. The first one is the Fear grinder. It's a very basic package. The nice thing about the Fear grinders is they're very inexpensive, and it allows you to do a lot of stuff with them. So on this grinder we mainly use it for grinding fullers, but we can use wheels on the edge here from 3/4 inch all the way up to 14 inches. And the variable speed on it is very helpful for various materials. Our main grinder is our good old trusty Grizzly. A lot of people laugh at this grinder because it's old, it's very basic, it has one speed. But man, this thing rips through steel like nothing, and I'm so used to it. I love grinding on these, and I can almost grind anything on these. The downside, you can't change you can change the wheel size to 2 different sizes, that's it, or your own custom sizes. But for the most part, 10-inch wheel is most of our work. Alright, so now we're going to go to the grind process. So when I start the rough grind on the blades, I'm going to be doing the cleanup profiles and then doing my rough tapers. Now before I grind, I got to get my right safety equipment. So got to get a glove on my left hand, which is right near the grinder so it gets hot. My nice fancy hat to keep all my sparks and everything out of my face and out of my eyes. Very sexy. And then when I'm actually grinding, the blade, remember this is heat treated already, so I want to make sure I don't overheat it and kill the heat treatment process that already happened. So right next to my grinder I have my water bath here that I can cool it off. And what I'm going to be doing is using the vice grip to control my angles of my blade and then grinding in a diamond profile. I only have a little bit here to show you before I run out of time, so I'm going to do a quick grind and then we're going to pick it up in the next video. See, it's getting hot. So I'm going to keep working that until I hit my center line, and we'll pick that up in the next video.